The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Morning. It is Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022. Thank you for joining us at the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. We have a jam-packed show this morning, and I want to begin, as always, with a moment in Black history. Dr. Carl Mack is not with us today. However, he has left us blackheritagedays.org. Be sure to go there and get a copy of this Black history calendar from which we set the stage for most of our conversations. In fact, all of our conversations, reroute them and ground them in history. So Google what happened today in Black history.
On March 22, 1986, figure skater Deborah Janey Thomas was competing in the World Figure Skating Championship in Geneva, Switzerland. Her performance earned the gold medal, thus making her the first Black world figure skating champion. In February of the same year, Thomas became the first Black skater to win the United States Figure Skating Championships. At the 1988 Winter Olympics, she won the bronze medal and became the first Black skater from the United States to ever win a Winter Games Olympic medal. Adapted from Black Heritage Day calendar by author, lecturer and civil rights activist Dr. Carl Mack.
And that is our moment in Black history for Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022. Again, good morning and welcome to the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. I am trying to strike a balance here on this show where we break the news to you without breaking you. There's a lot happening, and there's so much happening that sometimes it's a lot to process. But we have a responsibility to dig into these stories with as much nuance as we can and do it in a fashion that does not drag the people down. And that's been a challenge over the years because the news is ridiculous. The news has been story after story after story, issue after issue, one crisis after another. And if anyone in the audience is wondering whether or not maybe the world has gone crazy or the fact of the matter is that no, nothing is normal right now. Okay, nothing is normal. In fact, we shouldn't see it as normal. As much as this country is trying to get back to normal, the fact of the matter is, as it pertains to COVID-19, we are still not yet back to normal. And it feels like, it feels like I'm the crazy one. It feels like I'm the one, like a voice crying in the wilderness saying, hey, there's another wave coming. But in fact, there is another wave coming of COVID-19. And what's disturbing about this is that crisis after crisis, we have a generation of leadership who quite honestly is sticking their heads in the sand. I mean, we really have to check out the pattern. We're going to get to the headlines. I'm going to give you all the headlines today, and we're going to be going on the clock with Georgia Fort. She's with us today. So glad to have our sister back. DJ Exclusive, he's out today. So send some love in the chat room for DJ Exclusive. I think he hurt himself, if I read the message correctly, this weekend. I don't know, spelunking. I don't know. DJ Exclusive is a superhero out here. And again, Dr. Carl Mack is not with us today. That said, I just want to point light on the fact that we do not survive by sticking our heads in the sand and ignoring the fact that COVID-19 is still raging. Over the past 2 weeks, we have averaged about 10,000 Americans a week that have died from COVID-19. And I know, as frustrating as it is, a lot of people want to get back to normal, but you can't get back to normal with that level of death. We can't. We cannot pretend as though, for the sake of us being able to go back to the movies, that we simply turn away from the data. And we are dealing with a leadership. And this is not just the Biden administration. Obviously, we are here where we are right now today because of the Trump administration's mishandling of COVID-19. Of that, there's no question whatsoever. But we have turned at an inflection point where the United States of America is, as a matter of institutional policy, ignoring the pandemic. I just got to say that again, because, this is where we are now. The United States, we're not looking at the debt data. We're not even collecting it the same way. We're not even reporting it the same way. I understand what is happening in Ukraine. I mean, if we look at the sum total of everything that's happening, folks, we have a pandemic that's still raging. We have a coup that is happening in real time in the United States of America. That what began on January 6th is not over. Simultaneously, we have Vladimir Putin, who feels that he's authorized to change the world order all by himself. And so now we have set the stage for World War III. And this is no hyperbole. The only thing left on our 2022 ticket is an invasion from the aliens. That's it. That's where we are. We are dealing with that many crises. Knock on wood. I don't know. Maybe we'll do good if they did come, but they'll turn around, lock their doors because Earth is ghetto. But I digress. The point is this, is that if we continue to allow our civilization, quite frankly, to be led by people who stick their heads in the sand, climate change. I haven't even mentioned climate change yet. So let's look at the sum total. And I'm going to laugh about it all the way through it because it is that absurd. We are on the precipice of climate disaster. We have a raging pandemic that if we simply could have controlled our greed and our urge to consume, I don't know how many people would still be alive. I mean, really think about that. We're at 1 million Americans who are dead because we could not shut down even for a month. And they want to tell us about delayed gratification. I mean, we're talking about a system that literally cannot cut off for a single day without it being an existential crisis. I'm talking about capitalism. I'm talking about Wall Street. I'm talking about all these corporations that simply could not shut down for a month. And because they could not shut down for a month, you had to go back to work. And we have had the bodies piling up from COVID-19 ever since. So we have the pandemic. We have climate disaster, impending climate disaster. We have the January 6ers insurrectionists who are disappointed because I guess they couldn't get the souped up version of their trucks. And so now they feel like it is a tyranny and oppression. And so they marched up the steps of the Capitol. But it is a real coup. I will mock them because they're mockable, but it is a real coup. Climate disaster, pandemic, January 6ers coup, Vladimir Putin. One thing left now are the aliens. Quite frankly, I think I'm going to welcome our alien overlords at this point. Let me skip to a couple of headlines before the time gets away from me. The United States House of Representatives passes the Crown Act seeking to ban race-based hair discrimination. According to NBC News, the House on Friday passed the Crown Act, which would ban hair-related discrimination. It was introduced by Bonnie Watson Coleman, a Democrat from New Jersey. The measure, H.R. 2116, passed in a vote 235 to 189. I wonder what is the race and gender of those 189 and party affiliation. I think we could fill in the dots. Crown stands for Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair. This is going to be a story that we're going to cover a little bit more throughout the rest of today. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas is hospitalized. Now, this story is going to really test me. I've been doing a lot of self-reflection and development over the years, over the pandemic, and I'm trying to be a better person and not rejoice in the Anyway, let me just read before I get myself in trouble. News of the hospitalization came just before the Senate Judiciary Committee opened hearings on Monday in the nomination of Ketanji Brown Jackson. And this is according to AP News. We'll be discussing the nomination process of soon-to-be Justice Jackson soon. Justice Clarence Thomas, who's 73, has been at Sibley Memorial Hospital in Washington, D.C. since Friday after expressing flu-like symptoms, the court said in a statement. We'll be covering that a little bit more when some people can flank me in the conversation and keep me from saying something inappropriate. Godspeed. Ukraine update. We are still keeping an eye on what's happening in Ukraine. More specifically, I'm keeping personally an eye on the propaganda here in the United States that has become a part of Vladimir Putin's tools. David, I will get to the headline, but I got to pause here for a second and talk about the propaganda machine that's active here in the United States that is 100% a part of Vladimir Putin's toolkit to take over Ukraine. One of those tools is to make everyone in the United States think that Ukraine is nothing but Nazis. This coming from Vladimir Putin, who most assuredly is the leader of the neo-fascists, the neo-fascist movement. But I digress. The point is the propaganda is very effective. It is very alive, and it utilizes social media to create and manufacture consent that is not real, but is spreading consent that is neutralizing what otherwise would have been a robust anti-war movement here in the United States. Somewhere along the lines of the anti-war movement that was here in the United States when George W. Bush decided to go into Iraq. I remember because we were there organizing all over this country to make sure that the anti-war movement in the United States was heard, despite the fact the empire did what it wanted to do and invaded Iraq anyway. You would think that there would be an analogous, a one-for-one match in the ferocity of the anti-war movement here in the United States against Vladimir Putin, but you can scarcely get it off the ground because of the effectiveness of the paid trolls and the useful idiots who are doing it for free during the bidding of Vladimir Putin, making it seem as though the anti-war position should be, this is the absurdity. Don't lose me. Don't let me lose you. The argument now is that it is the official position of this group of anti-war propagandists that the best move for peace is for Ukraine to surrender. And that's that bullshit. Good morning. I'm sorry, but that's not how peace works. You do not get peace by subjecting the powerless to the powerful. That is an injustice anywhere. And as Dr. King said, an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And that is an absurdity. You're not going to pull that one. They may have neutralized. I would, in fact, say that the propaganda coming from Vladimir Putin, and I make that distinction again because I do not ascribe this to the people of Russia, because there is a resistance movement in Russia right now that is letting it be known that it is not the people of Russia who is doing this. This is Vladimir Putin and the hardliners there in the Kremlin. This is Putin's war. This is Putin's propaganda. This is Putin's little ego, big ego, little everything else. This is him asserting his self-aggrandized belief that he himself has the right to rewrite the entirety of the global order to satiate whatever insecurities he got from us crushing. Okay, yeah, I almost went full patriot right there. Again, I'm not going to fall into that. I'm going to say that this is Vladimir Putin. And Vladimir Putin has the unmitigated gall to believe that he has the right. But the people of Russia have pushed back against him. The sad thing is, here in the United States, the anti-war movement has been neutralized because it has been infiltrated and has been infiltrated for quite some time. And so we do not see, in response to what Vladimir Putin said himself was an imperialist expansion. Y'all got to forgive me. I got to wade into this just for a second, and then we'll get back to the regular headlines. You cannot make me believe that when Vladimir Putin launched this war, this bloody, murderous, war crime-filled war, he said himself that this is on behalf of the Russian Empire. And you want me to believe that the anti-imperialist position is to support or tacitly stay away from this argument? Something the old folks used to say in the churches I always went to, devil is a liar. Anyway, let me read these headlines so I can get the rest of the show going. Ukraine, 26 days into Russia's invasion, the bombing of citizens continues. That's the headline. 26 days into Russia's invasion, the bombing of citizens continues. And yet the anti-war, pro-peace movement in the United States of America has seemed to met its Achilles heel because it hates America so much that it can't possibly fix its mouth to hate Russians, Vladimir Putin's imperialist expansion. It's like it's like it's a cognitive dissonance that their brains can't handle. And as a result, one of the most powerful anti-war movements that we've seen has been completely and utterly neutralized in the wake of Vladimir Putin. I don't want to correct that headline. 26 days into Vladimir Putin's invasion, the bombing of citizens continues. China is to provide Ukraine with another $1.57 million in humanitarian aid. That is less than a rounding error. I'm not sure what they're going to do with 1.57 million. Put a B behind that and we'll have a conversation, China. Officials say that the world is experiencing, as a result of the chaos, an oil emergency. I want to be sure. I want to be sure about this particular headline because let's be clear, only 1% of America's oil comes from Russia. And we have seen a false oil emergency here in the United States to the tune of $5 a gallon. Even though the cost of oil itself went below $100 a barrel, which means gas should be lower than $4 a gallon, we are seeing places all around the country where gas is over $5 and $6 a gallon. And so there is a false crisis that is happening right now, and it is hitting a real crisis in the American back pocket, in our wallets, in our pocketbooks. So the false crisis that has been manufactured to help oil companies to make billions of dollars in profit while their oil prices are going lower, that false crisis is creating a real financial crisis for the average working American. But that is what this system does really prolifically. I digress. So officials are now saying that the world is experiencing an oil emergency, and the recommendations are, now I will give them this, the recommendations are exactly what we should be doing anyway. Doing away with all of these cars on the road, getting some public transportation, traveling less, some basic things that we should be doing, but particularly emphasis on the public transportation. There are plenty of ways. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that because it's another part of the absurdity. I am tired of being around people who have had the answers to the questions for at least, I don't know, when did John Rawls write his book, Theory of Justice? Like, John Rawls pretty much figured out how we could solve a lot of these problems, and the world is still like anyway. So many places for me to get canceled. The Russian courts finds that Meta, Facebook, to be an extremist organization and bans Facebook and Instagram. Russian courts find that Meta, also known as Facebook, is an extremist organization, and they have banned Facebook and Instagram. I want to demonstrate something for some of my leftist comrades who don't understand how you could dislike two things at one time. Excuse me. I loathe Facebook. I think Facebook is one of the biggest problems to democracy right now today. But you know what? Good on Facebook for holding the line in this particular regard. Now, as soon as I'm done finishing this sentence, patting Facebook on the back for this, I'm going to go right back to saying that Facebook is a problem. Facebook is a problem for democracy. So I'm not going to pat them on the back longer than one sentence, and that's how it has to be. Even if we disagree with the people who are fighting, the fact of the matter is that we have the right to draw a line in the sand and declare where we stand on the issue of Vladimir Putin's war in Ukraine. All right, I want to play this next clip. This is a clip of Secretary of State Anthony Blinken referencing Russia's airstrike while speaking at the Holocaust Museum Memorial in Washington, D.C., making it clear that Ukraine is home to nearly 10,000 Holocaust survivors. Let's listen to that clip.
One of the unsettling truths of the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum is that there's never a time I visit here when its lessons do not feel deeply resonant. But I have to tell you, I can recall few times when that history felt so urgent, or the responsibility it imparts on all of us so pressing. As we meet, the Russian government continues to wage its unprovoked, brutal war on Ukraine. Each day brings more harrowing attacks, more innocent men, women, and children killed. That includes the 5 people who were killed in a strike on March 1st on a TV tower and the surrounding area on the outskirts of Kyiv, the same site where just over 80 years ago, 33,771 Jews were killed by the Nazis in just 2 days, Babi Yar. Ukraine is home to nearly 10,000 Holocaust survivors, including an 88-year-old woman, Natalia Bernzaya of Odessa. Here's what she said in a recent interview, and I quote, "It's hard to wrap my mind around the fact that in 1941, I had to hide in the basement of this building, and that I'm going to have to do that again now."
Secretary Blinken making it clear that this is a moment. I don't care what he may care. I want to make something clear for myself. There are wars that are happening right now all over the world. We have covered them and continue to cover them. I have covered the war in Syria, the civil war in Syria, and there's quite the analog. There's quite the comparison. The same people who stood behind Bashar al-Assad and his war crimes in Syria against the Syrian people who stood up. I believe it was the Green Revolution that long ago. That's how long they've been in this civil war, about 11 years. The people of Syria stood up in what was an organic and authentic revolution, and it devolved most certainly into a civil war. The same people who are quietly here in the United States supporting Vladimir Putin, and some of them very vocally supporting Vladimir Putin here in the United States, are some of the same people who made excuses when Bashar al-Assad gassed his people. If my memory serves me correctly, that's how long that war has been. I actually want to put that caveat there because that has been going on for 11 years now. And we've been talking about it for not 11 years. It's how many years? My goodness, no, it's been 11 years. The Yemen war that is now being supported. I got so many wars in my head. This is the problem. The Yemeni war being waged by Saudi Arabia, tacitly supported by the United States of America, right? There are so many wars that are happening around the globe, not to mention the conflicts that are happening all over the continent of Africa that are not even official wars, but are being sanctioned by colonial powers. There are wars happening all over this globe, and they are all centered in the same thing: the greed, ego, and ambition of primarily men. And it is not difficult to be morally consistent and to reject every single one of those wars, including and especially a war that is the first step in changing the world order. And I, for one, personally think that you should not be so full of yourself as to think that you yourself, Vlad, are brilliant enough, righteous enough, and certainly moral enough to be able to single-handedly change the world order and shape it in your image. We got a lot of miles to go. I want to take a break here. We're going to play some music, and when we come back, we're going to be on the clock with Georgia Floyd. We're glad to have her back in the anchor seat to give us the headlines on what's happening on the Minneapolis teachers strike. That's still ongoing, and we have an update on the Howard University teacher strike. It looks like the teachers were not able to come to a consensus. The professors at Howard University were unable to come to a consensus. And so it looks like that strike is going to be ongoing. We'll be doing that as well as several interviews. We'll be back with more of the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show right after this.
The truth is hard, so much better. Won't you let me stay here forever? Light up in the sky, filled with treasures. Won't you join in? I can help you with anything you need. When you make mistakes, I can ease your pain. Follow me and dream. Won't you let me stay forever? The truth is our lives so much better. Won't you let me stay forever? Light up in the sky, filled with treasure. Won't you let me stay forever? The truth is our lives so much better. Won't you let me stay forever? Light up in the sky, filled with treasure.
Swipe, swipe.
Good morning. Minneapolis teachers are still on strike. At this time, there has been some negotiations. A little progress has been made, but it appears as though the district and the teacher union are at a standstill, and it's all because of wages. Teachers are refusing to bend on their demand for a minimum of $35,000 a year for specific positions within the Minneapolis school district. And a lot of people saying $35,000 is not a lot of money when you think about individuals who are working full time, who have a full size classroom, and who are assisting even other teachers. Whatever the position is, $35,000 is barely a living wage. Most teachers, we've heard over the last 2 weeks, sharing how they have to work second and third jobs in order to make ends meet. I want you guys to take a listen to the latest rally. I believe this was on Sunday afternoon, where at least 12 different unions came into Minneapolis to stand in solidarity with the Minneapolis teachers. Take a listen.
If we don't get it, shut it down. And you cannot tell me that this district feels comfortable talking all of this nonsense about equity while they pay their predominantly black and brown education support professionals starvation wages. So goddamn it, a living wage for educational support professionals is an equity issue. $35K, it ain't too much to pay. $35K! $35K! $35K!
Give the ESPs $35,000. It's not too much to ask. I think personally for me, I would like settle tomorrow if they would just give the ESPs $35,000, because it is not right for my colleagues go to another job, because all of them go to another job when they leave work. Because we want to go see our kids. We want to go teach. We'd rather be in the classroom, but there's no justice here, so we need justice for all. My why, I think we all have a why. My why is so my children, when they decide to become educators, they don't have to struggle the way we struggle. These are for our kids, and we need to take care of our teachers, ESPs, and we also need to take care of our community, our students. So this is Minneapolis. We gotta take care of Minneapolis.
And Minneapolis ain't never seen the likes of what they've been seeing this year. They've been seeing people in blue and purple and red and green and any other color that means that you are standing in solidarity, not blinking, saying we gonna hold the line. Because everybody deserves fair wages.
Now, Ben, one of the things I'd like people to know is the district has made an offer. They've increased wages up to $23 an hour for 85% of education support professionals. But as you heard there, the teachers are demanding that it's $35,000. The district has also offered a $6,000 bonus, but saying that the district has reached its financial capacity and is unable to offer what they're demanding. And so my concern is, if the teachers are holding the line asking $35,000 for the educational support professionals, the ESPs, if they're holding the line and the district is saying we've reached our financial capacity with what we've offered you, that means that they're at a deadlock. So now, students have already been out of school for over 2 weeks. I mean, how long is this
Yeah.
going to go on?
Yes. Good morning, Sister Georgia. That's a great question. What happens when an unstoppable force meets an unmovable object? And I think we're getting a glance at that there in Minneapolis. And I do want to just say, 35,000 is not a lot of money, and it is certainly not enough for someone to live or raise a family off of. That's mostly for certain. In terms of the money situation, if the school board is out of money, then we really need to look at how we allocate money on the city level and on the school board and the school district level. Why is it that we never run out of money for new tanks in our communities, new Humvees and new tactical weapons and all the Call of Duty military grade play toys that the police could ever want, but we can never find enough money for education?
That's right. Yeah, it's unfortunate. And what we should be asking ourselves too is, like, how does a district, how does any organization or system build a budget with wages that are beyond what a person can live on, or beneath
That's
what
right.
a person can live on, right? Like,
That's
why
right.
are we even creating budgets that oppress people in that way? It
Right.
feels very exploitative. If you don't have the money to pay someone what it takes to live and feed their family, then you shouldn't be creating a position to hire them, right? Then you
That's
should
right.
be re-examining your own capacity if you
That's
can't
right.
afford that. So it's also like a shift of perspective, because for so long, these huge government agencies, corporations, rather than trying to reallocate funds from somewhere else, they'll just say, oh, well, it's fine, we'll just pay them $10 an hour. No, it's not fine. The people who you're bringing to the table, and that, when you talk about equity, and I'm so glad that teacher said that, you talk about equity, and it feels like corporation, government agency, school district right now is talking about equity. But when you talk about equity, not just for the students, but for your staff,
Mm,
equity is
mm.
paying people fair wages.
Yes. Yes, no, absolutely. And you speak to the structural nature of this, right? It literally makes no sense for us to structurally write into our budgets wages that it's going to cause an entire portion of our community to live below poverty. But there's so many jobs that are literally designed to do exactly that. And those are the working class jobs that we see all over these are the essential workers too, Georgia. If we add on top of this that there's a pandemic, and not only do teachers not have enough money to have enough books, sometimes they have to use their own money to buy supplies, but now they're doing this in the middle of a pandemic in a school system, in a country, quite frankly, that has been grossly irresponsible.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and we're seeing the community get very resourceful in support of the students who have been out of school. There's a YMCA in North Minneapolis that has been the hub for a lot of students, where they've been doing some tutoring, and just, a safe haven, a safe space for them to go during the day if their parents have to go into work. I know that in St. Paul, Indigenous Roots has opened up their doors to students as well. So there has been this, just village effort, really, to make sure that while this is going on, students don't get left behind. There's also been a lot of criticism. Of course, there's a lot of parents who are extremely frustrated that their kids were home through the pandemic and they had to adjust through that, and then sending them back to school. And then now here we are again, they're back at home. So it's definitely caused a lot of, stress and adjustment for families. But at the end of the day, I think if this issue isn't resolved now, if the Minneapolis public schools doesn't have a strong, solid foundation, and teachers don't feel good about their wages, they don't feel good about their classroom sizes, they feel like their students aren't getting enough mental health support, all of these things that they're asking for, if there's not a remedy for that, right? If we don't pause and fix the issue, then, my concern would be that, we're just putting a Band-Aid on a broken bone, and it's only going to get worse.
Absolutely. Absolutely agree with you there, Georgia.
Yeah. And so, I believe we still have a guest coming this morning.
Absolutely. I wanted to shift the conversation to something that's happening in Mason, Tennessee. We're going to be joined, and I want to welcome to the conversation Anita Wadwani. She's a reporter for the Tennessee Lookout. And I came across their article discussing the incoming comptroller, Jason Mumpower, announcing that the state would take control over the town's finances. And this is just before Ford Motor Company is getting ready to make a significant investment into the city, Georgia. And before we go into this conversation, I have to add this one last piece of information. The city is predominantly Black. Anita, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Could you tell us a little bit more about your reporting?
Well, good morning. And first of all, this is early for me. I'm not a morning person, so forgive any frogs in my throat.
Oh, no, thank you.
So Mason is a pretty small town in rural West Tennessee. It's been around for more than 150 years. And the week before last, the Tennessee comptroller gave town officials an ultimatum. And that was that they should either cede their charter, which would essentially not erase Mason from the map necessarily, but end their representative government, end their existence as a municipality. The other side of that ultimatum is if town leaders chose not to do that, that he would take financial control of the town. And the comptroller has said that, this town for 20 years has struggled with its finances. It has a long history of, not submitting their budgets or audits or doing all the kinds of things that municipalities are required to do under state law. There have also been a couple of pretty egregious instances of fraud in the town's history. One town official paid himself an extra $600,000 and was later indicted. Another one took off with $100,000. And those things are largely responsible for putting Mason in a big financial hole. And so where we are now is the town Board of Aldermen voted not to cede their charter. They passed a resolution saying, no, we're not going to do that. And the comptroller has said publicly that he is now currently taking steps to take financial control. And he and Mason officials are meeting for the first time about that step today.
Anita, I want to, first of all, thank you for your reporting on this. And I'm going back to another article that you wrote on this. Help us to understand the nature of those financial troubles that happened in the city. And I'm trying to find which article, but correct me if I'm wrong. I believe I read that there was a shift of power in the city, that at one time the city was predominantly managed by predominantly white leadership. Did I read that correctly? What was that transition like? And did that have any overlap with the fraud?
So up until 2015, Mason was led, and for about a century, maybe with some exceptions I'm not aware of, it was led entirely by white elected officials, almost entirely by white elected officials. This is a town that is majority Black, and that's been true for a very long time. In 2015, and this was after and I'm sorry, I'm trying to recall the name of the position of the person who committed the fraud, and it's escaping me. But this individual had his fraud emerged in 2015. The state comptroller was investigating. There was a criminal investigation. Almost the entire leadership of the town resigned. And it left a junior alderman who was recently elected, a Black woman, who was essentially next in line to become mayor. So she was the first mayor in, she was the first Black and woman mayor in Mason. And since then, there have been a couple of elections since then. The leadership has been Black. The mayors and the vice mayors have been Black. Currently, Mason has a Black mayor, Mr. Emmett Gooden. It has a Black vice mayor, Miss Virginia Rivers, and 5 of its aldermen, and I believe it has 6 aldermen, are Black. And when you talk with the leadership in Mason, this is a point that they kind of lead with first, is the fraud that really resulted in them having such a deep financial hole.
Difficulties. Yeah.
Resulted during prior administrations, and
That's
those were white administrations.
Yeah. Sister Ford.
So, what impact would it have on the city if this individual takes control over the finances of the town?
So, the comptroller has said that he is taking control. I'm not sure what options Mason have to challenge that right now, but what it would mean is a very tight rein on the workings of town government. Any expense of $100 or more would have to be approved by the comptroller's office.
Wow.
They would have to submit weekly financials. And he's already indicated that, they've got a plan for Mason that is going to require the town to essentially pay more than $25,000 a month to pay off some of the debt that they've accrued.
Okay.
Which, I actually don't know how much their monthly budget is, but I think that for a town that size, that's going to mean layoffs. It's going to mean benefit cuts. It may mean things that that have not emerged yet. And I think in terms of elected officials who are making decisions about, for example, should we put a sidewalk outside City Hall? Or should we plant trees in the park? I mean, any one of those decisions is going to be subject to this financial oversight. Most of the decisions they make have to do with money.
What is the feeling of the people in Mason in regards to the Ford plant coming in?
So I can't pretend to be an expert on the culture of this little town. I visited it for the first time week before last. I spent a day there. I tried to talk to as many people as possible. But honestly, people were really guarded with me. And I would have some off the record conversations that were more revealing, but on the record, and at the time that I was there was just ahead of a town meeting where city officials were going to explain to the community what was happening. And so I got a lot of like, well, I just want to hear what they have to say tonight. And I mean, honestly, I think that both the African American and the white residents that I spoke to may have had different reasons for being guarded with talking to me, a reporter from out of town who they didn't know.
Yeah. I'm looking at this. The absurdity is screaming in my face, Anita. The fact that the debt that these Black people, I mean, it's one thing for them not to give us reparations. It's another thing to stick us with a whole brand new debt and then say, now we have to pay you back, and from the small town to the tune of $25,000 a month for damages that were created by non-Black people in a predominantly Black town. Reminds me of Ferguson, Missouri, and all the investigations that happened there. I wonder, the comptroller, what made him so, I don't know, so eager to address this issue now when the offenses happened before 2015?
I mean, I think that's a question a lot of people are asking, and kind of emphasizing that question, or the reason behind that question is what the comptroller is doing with Mason is really unusual. The comptroller has taken over finances of since the late 80s or early 90s. This has only happened 3 times that the comptroller has taken over the finances of a city or a county. So it's not unprecedented, but it's really rare. But the other unprecedented thing that he has done is he's never asked a town to revoke its charter. That's just never happened before. He's never written a letter directly to every property owner in a town that said, essentially, we want you to urge your local officials to cede your charter. And I think that those things kind of raise that question about why now, why Mason, why these unusual steps. And if you talk with the comptroller's people, they will tell you that the comptroller feels like what's happening with Mason's finances is so egregious that it warrants this very kind of unprecedented way of going about this. And then, of course, if you talk with the elected leaders in Mason, they strongly dispute that. And they say that they have been working really hard to get the town's finances under control.
Anita Wani from the Tennessee Reporter, I want to thank you for bringing this to our attention. We're going to keep our eye on it as well. Tell everyone how they can get up with you and hear more of your reporting.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Georgia, I don't know what kind of time you have. If you could stay with us a few more minutes, I want to discuss this a little bit more. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by DJ Exclusive. I just want to expand the conversation on this because the absurdity is really screaming in our faces. We'll be back with more of the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show right after this.
Good morning, people. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Y'all know who it is. Y'all know the voice. Y'all know the sound. James Bubba Williams, DJ Exclusive, is in the building. Good morning, everybody.
But your words can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No, I ain't been right more than I've been wrong. And it still can't hurt me. No, it just can't hurt me. No. No, you just can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No, no, no. I know it's hard to be polite, and it's easy being.
Good morning, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned.
Man, it's crazy how my brother said it could have been my cell. It's either prison or a grave. That's what everybody tell me. Man, life ain't a beach, it's a female dog. I'm staying 10 toes down, though I still might fall. Oh yeah, now I done came through, knocking pictures off your walls. Loving people who persecute you, it's still a tough light up on my path and a limp under my feet. I know my faith's strong, but my flesh still kinda weak. When that victory be looking like the verge of defeat, and I feel that disrespect, help me turn my other cheek and say sticks and stones may break my bones.
Good morning, everybody. I see y'all out there in the chat room. Good morning.
No, you just can't hurt me. No, I
Roller Dragon, you hear me, don't you? I'm not on today. You talking about? Good morning, y'all. See, there I is, there I go. You see me, I see you. Good morning, y'all.
You just can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No, no, no. No, you just can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No. See, it's hard to be polite. It's easy being petty. Mama used to tell me, gotta use you when you're ready.
I girl, you already see me on the screen.
Ain't got no diamonds on me, but I stay shining. Yeah, yeah. They say the world would be a better place if we take out the hate. Stop all the hate right now. Yeah. Let's keep it real, it'd be better if we just subtract the fake. Yeah, so be a light up on my path and a lamp under my feet. I know my faith strong, but my
What's to be good? What's to survive Vegas?
And I feel like disrespect, help me turn my other cheek.
Roller Dragon, I am down a little bit, but I'm here.
May break my bone, but your words can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No,
good morning, y'all. Good morning, good morning. Lauren Stott, I see you. Good morning, Mom and Daddy.
No, it just can't hurt me. No. No, you just can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No, no, no.
Yeah. Y'all know what time it is. Good morning, y'all. Get your coffee, your tea, Kanye did something over the weekend, and I was just like, when I came back today, I was just like, oh yeah.
to 10:30, yeah. Like it or not, is on your channel, yeah.
I'm done with
politics
Kanye.
And culture
Yay.
we change game like we're supposed to, yeah. Interviews and all news, we get to choose what gets the views. Like it or not, with Queen Azor, it started.
Johnson I have before, and I probably can do it again.
It's going down like it or not. Y'all stick around. Oh, Rebecca Azor is coming through. You know she got a
Lee, go home, Lee.
Oh, Benjamin, that's my dog.
Shout out everybody in the chat room.
His show. He's a politics bro.
Film City Socialist, yes, he is. He is canceling the hell out of himself. That tirade he went on talking about leftists and MAGA supporters. Oh yeah, bro. I'm gone. I'm good. I'm done.
Stay dropping them jams. Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not.
Hey Johnson, we need to make that happen. Maybe we can get something together. I'll be down for that.
Like it or not, it's starting now.
All right, y'all. I like it or not. It's about to go down.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, Georgia.
Hey, good morning. There was like no fade in. I mean, it just cut like abruptly. I wasn't ready.
Child, that's why I love StreamYard, but I hate StreamYard altogether because it's just never just no smooth transition. It is like it is or it ain't.
Good morning and welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth
and not care who doesn't like it.
It is Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022. March 22nd, 2022. There's a lot of twos in there. Rebecca Azor is not with us today, but as you can see, we are graced by the presence of none other than Queen Georgia Fort. Good morning, sister.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm not trying to fill those shoes. Rebecca, I hope you're okay. If you're not feeling well, I hope you feel better. Definitely not trying to fill those shoes. I love Rebecca. She holds it down and great journalist. Love what she does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And she was just on the Hill Rising again yesterday, taking names and doing what she does. So I don't want to see her more over there on Hill Rising than I see her over here. Rebecca. No,
hello.
But I heard she gave them a run for their money, though. So
right, Georgia.
Don't mess with Rebecca now.
Don't mess with Rebecca.
Mess around and find out is what they do. And anyway, Georgia, I know you have to get out of here and do your thing, but I just wanted you to hold over for a few minutes because that last story is sending me some kind of ways, every way. Did y'all get all the gist of it? That white administrators ruined the city's budget, scammed the city, and then when black people took over the city, now all of a sudden they want to penalize the city. It's crazy.
And I realize Anita is a real journalist. She was not going to connect the dots. You know, she just laid out the facts and she wants people to connect the dots for themselves. But when you really look at the information that she shared, there are a lot of things that are unusual, and the timing of things. Folks should be asking themselves why all of a sudden, very rarely in history do we see a city that is encouraged to revoke its charter, to turn over its finances, simultaneously while a corporation is looking to come into that area, right? And so the questions we should be asking ourselves is, the person who's encouraging folks in Mason to revoke their charter, do they have a relationship with anybody at the Ford plant? Are they a beneficiary? Do they own stock at Ford? Like there should be some questions there because, you know, usually when you have this many unusual occurrences, it's not like they're unrelated.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. That's right. The thing that blows me, man, is the nerve. Like how all of a sudden, well, one, he believes he's going to get away with it. The people of Mason said that they're drawing the line. They're going to hold the line there. I might pull up and shout out to Anita, because I understood very clearly what she was saying. She was like, listen, for the reasons, she was like, basically obvious reasons, they didn't really want to talk to me that much. But I almost felt her saying, hint, hint, wink, wink. If y'all go down there, y'all can get the real story. So we might have to pull up to Mason, because for this guy, Mumpower, to believe that he has a right to just take over a city. No, bro, this is not, this is not how it's done in America. No.
Yeah. Well, or is it? Is this
or is it?
That's the part.
We go back.
So
look through history. I mean, that's kind of how we got here.
Yeah. Well, taking something that's not theirs. Spilling. See,
she said it all right there, because honestly, it's just a different name. You said this is it. This is how it's always been done. They just did it differently a little bit. That's all.
This is America. This is America, huh? This is America. Listen, real quick before Georgia, before you get out of here, I want to shift gears, because we have not had a chance to talk at great length about the nominee, the pick that Joe Biden made for the replacement for Justice Kennedy, Ketanji Brown Jackson. She has begun her Supreme Court hearings. We have a video, highlights from day one of Judge Jackson's SCOTUS confirmation. Let's take a look at this.
Judge Jackson, to you and your family.
No one is going to inquire into your teenage dating habits. No one is going to ask you with mock severity, do you like beer?
Most of us couldn't go back to our offices during Kavanaugh without getting spit on. Hope that doesn't happen to y'all.
Somebody salty.
Well, they just took the joy. They just took the joy out of that for me. That was from the recount. I guess I should have prefaced I should have read the notes first. That's not exactly how I wanted to welcome and greet Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show.
Somebody's salty.
Yeah,
somebody's
you know what?
Jackson,
because
to you and your family.
No one is going to inquire into your teenage dating habits.
That explains a lot.
No one is going to ask you with mock severity, do you like beer?
Most of us couldn't go back to our offices during Kavanaugh without getting spit on. Hope that doesn't happen to y'all. I don't think it will.
the men who wrote our founding documents could never have imagined that you would one day be here. A former public defender, a proud graduate of a public high school, a working mom, and yes, the first Black woman nominated to serve on the nation's highest court.
Democrats systematically voted against many well-credentialed nominees that were diverse professionally, diverse geographically, diverse religiously, and diverse ethnically. Was it racist or anti-women for them to do so? I don't believe that it was. Democrats did it because the nominees didn't agree with living constitutionalism.
The bottom line here is when it is about philosophy, when it's somebody of color on our side, it's about we're all racist if we ask hard questions. It's not going to fly with us. We're used to it by now, at least I am.
Educators are allowing biological males to steal opportunities from female athletes in the name of progressivism.
When I was born here in Washington, my parents were public school teachers. And to express both pride in their heritage and hope for the future, they gave me an African name, Ketanji Onyeka, which they were told means lovely one. My parents taught me that unlike the many barriers that they had had to face growing up, my path was clearer, so that if I worked hard and I believed in myself in America, I could do anything or be anything I wanted to be.
I want to. I love the fact that people like Senator Graham, who you heard at the beginning of that clip, and Ted Cruz, the two Neanderthals that you heard at the beginning of those clips. I love the fact that they are entering onto the permanent record of this country and of this planet, quite honestly, how stupid they are. And then you juxtapose it with how brilliant this sister was at the very end of the clip.
Yeah.
I want people to listen to how brilliant this Black woman is and how brilliant she's going to be. And then just always remember that she had to testify in front of some of the most idiotic, imbecilic Neanderthals that I've seen in my lifetime. But I digress. Georgia, what are your thoughts?
I mean, let's keep the main thing. Okay. We now have this Black woman for the first time ever. And so this is historic. And so to me, it's just sad that they had to steal from her moment. It's basically like the Congress version of Kanye West getting up on stage when Taylor Swift was supposed to win her award and saying, oh, this was actually supposed to go to Beyonce.
Yes.
You know, why are you trying to take away from what this day means? Why can't you also appreciate the historic moment that you have the honor to and the privilege to be a part of, right? But instead, you're salty and you just have to throw that out there and rain on this woman's parade. But you know, what's the old saying? One monkey don't stop a show. So
That's right.
You know, I am so proud of this sister, and I know that she is going to inspire so many Black and brown girls to strive for more, right? And also, I want to remind people in this country, you know, for her to just now be the first Black woman in this position, and it's 2022.
Yeah. Come on, somebody.
That's why we need equity, because for how many decades, how many centuries has this country been dominated by white men that we're in 2022, we're in the 21st century, and we're still having Black people be the first Black person to do something.
Right.
You know, so for so long not been included. We have not had a seat at the table. And that's why the conversation around equity is still so significant.
Yeah. No, that's right. That's right. I like the way you compared that to the saltiness to Kanye, because we're definitely going to talk about Kanye here in a few minutes here, James. I'm just I'm kind of itching to get to that conversation, man. But I want to say this is live coverage we're looking at right now of day 2 So she's going to go through these hearings, and I believe she's going to get confirmed. She should get confirmed unanimously if Republicans were, I think they're smart enough not to vote against her, but we'll see. I'm sure somebody's going to be salty enough to vote against her, but we'll see real soon, James.
Look, I'm
absolutely
existence.
I just the way them clowns, I think Rand Paul, I think if anybody's going to be dumb enough and evil enough to make a stand against, because how do you stand up and say, I oppose this person who is not only the most qualified, but has the moral standing and the character, and then do so. I guess you don't do that. I guess instead you do what Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham did in that clip, which is to just throw salt. That's all they can do.
That's it.
Yep. Well, listen, Georgia, I don't want to hold you because I know you've got to do what you do. It is so good to have you back and see you again. I know you have been out doing your thing.
I really did miss you guys,
Georgia.
So, yeah, it's good to be back. My week last week just wasn't the same without you all. I was secretly tuning in so I could get my daily dose.
Nice.
See, we all do it. We may not feel like being on the screen, but we're always going to be somewhere behind the screen. Georgia Ford,
always,
always a pleasure, sis. We'll catch you tomorrow.
Likewise. Yep, absolutely.
All right, take care. DJ Exclusive, I didn't want you to come once you said that you were because I knew that once you showed up, you weren't gonna let me leave early. So
it wasn't, because it took a lot. And while we at it, let's talk about it for a second. So old man day I had.
What happened to you, bro?
I don't know, man. It was like I woke up. First of all, I fell asleep on the sofa. So I got up like maybe 6 a.m. Sunday morning, got in the bed. And I'm like, okay. So once I got in the bed, I'm sleeping. I'm thinking that I hear somebody moving around in my living room. So not realizing it was the damn wind blowing because I left the window partially cracked. So it's the wind blowing the blinds. So not only that, but I had sleep paralysis. So I woke up I'm thinking I'm hearing some shit in the living room, and I can't move. Like, okay, I got to get up. I got to move. When I finally able to move, I leapt the hell up out of bed. And right foot planted, it went good. Left foot, not so much so. Ooh. So right when I jumped down, whoosh. And instead of me hitting the floor, my arm pressed in. My bed sits about waist high, so it's a high ass bed. It's pretty high.
Dang, bro.
So arm went into the bed. Boom. Just the whole thing just collapsed. So yeah. Been without an arm for and then I had the DJ Sunday as well too. So yeah.
Wait, were you DJing with one arm, bro?
Damn near. So now the whole arm hurt. It started as the wrist, went up the forearm, then now it's the shoulder. So now it's just like, okay, I guess I got to go to the doctor today.
Wait, whoa, slow down. I thought you were already on the recovery side of it. You still got to go to the doctor.
Yeah, because I took off yesterday and I was chilling yesterday. So I'm just like, okay. But now it's just like this morning has been bothering the crap out of me. So now it's just like getting annoying. So I need to get it checked out.
That's all the more reason for you not to listen, man. I see what DJ Exclusive has done is because he realized that Rebecca nor him he could make it to the show this morning, right? And so I was just gonna say, hey, nobody wants to sit here and hear me talk for a whole hour, so let's just run a replay. But he said, no, I love the audience so much, and Ben, I don't want you to be up there by yourself. This man came with one good arm,
one arm.
That's how much he loves you.
Okay. One arm,
and that's how much he loves me. I appreciate you, bro. With your one good arm,
my one arm.
DJ,
I need to go get a damn massage or something. Hell, I need something.
Why you DJing like you dusting your shoulder off with that one arm DJing?
Right, man. And I'm just like, it's funny. I write with my right hand, but my left hand does everything else. So now it's just like lifting it and trying to do everything. It's just like, okay, I can do that for a little bit, and then it's like, nah, I got to put that back down again. Okay,
James, I'm going to call an audible here. Right.
Uh-huh.
Listen, man, the show's been great. We've been on for an hour and a half. And even to this point, we're not on broadcast just yet. We'll be on broadcast real soon. Bro, you need to get out of here. Go, man, I'm good. Go do your thing.
We gonna at least cover these two stories David said.
Okay. All right.
Because then look, because now then at 10 o'clock, it works out perfect. So yeah, because then at 10 o'clock, they want to come inspect my apartment. They do the same inspection like for the past 2 years. It's just that what y'all trying to do is see how I look on the inside because y'all trying to sell it, and they use my apartment as the model apartment because I didn't paint this shit. Like
you gotta look nice. Make sure they run you some money for that, bro.
Man, much as they call me, they need to.
Put your let's cover this. Because you brought up both you and Georgia brought up Kanye. Now I haven't gotten the most recent, but it looks like Trevor Noah is talking about how he said to counsel Kanye, not cancel Kanye. What did he do? You said something about him giving a shout out to MAGA supporters. What was this?
It was more so him and DL Hughley, their tweets against each other. And I think in that one, that's where he was saying something about the MAGA supporters and everything else. It was the whole tirade. It was like 4 rants long, and it was just him you leftists are crazy. You leftists need to not do this and that. Y'all believe in XYZ. It was just like, yo, what the hell? And from there, dude, I saw I need to see. I'm just like, yeah. You ain't off your deep end. You are off the deep end, but now you still on that. So I'm good on you, bro.
Kanye not only fell off in terms of like his personal mental health, if we're going to call it that, because I think I don't know, do we really categorize narcissism as a mental health condition? Because all of us suffer from it just to varying degrees. I think that's, if he's suffering from anything, it's narcissism. But it's not just that. It's the fact that Kanye has ideologically, philosophically aligned with the likes of Candace Owens and Donald Trump. And I'm like, yeah, bro, I can't, your music is good. I wish you would give, credits in the CD cover and the album cover to all the different artists, because I don't, I can't identify them all, but he just puts his name there. But the music ain't that good for me to come with you over to make America great again, because I know those are Nazis over there. So I've been done with Kanye for a minute, but I hope more people come to their senses and realize what he's really about, man. It's sad, though.
Absolutely.
It's sad.
Yeah, it really is. I'm trying to find the tweets, but due to that, as you see, his ass got banned from
Instagram.
Oh, it was only for a day, but he got banned from the Grammys, performing at the Grammys, which
makes sense.
That could hurt a lot of people. I mean, now, especially if they take out excuse me, if they take out his nominations, that's what they need to do. Hurt him a little bit where his pocket's at. Take them nominations away from him.
Now, are they banning him from the Grammys because of how he's treating Kim? Because I think that would be.
It's all of it. It's everything. It's from the Trevor Noah, from DL Hughley to Kim. It's like everything that he's been doing lately in the
it's compiling up
in the Twitterverse everywhere. Yeah, it's compiled up. Yeah,
and we're having and Trevor Noah is hosting the Grammys, so that would have been extremely awkward.
Exactly.
But listen, I don't know what to say about Kanye other than, bro, you got to be careful about the crowds you get around, because once you're around a certain crowd, you have people who are telling you you're brilliant. You have people telling you you're smart, telling you everything that you want to hear, telling you that all your ideas are great. And the truth of the matter is, no, all of our ideas are not great. We don't need to be around people who are just yes men. But when you have enough money, you buy yes men. And I think Kanye has just been around enough yes men for him to finally believe his own hype. And bro, black folks ain't going with you, but I'm sure there's plenty of less melanated Americans who are going to go with you all the way, Kanye. So you'll be fine.
Yeah. He will be
just fine. He gonna
get some help.
Speaking of help, Maury Povich is ending his 31 season career. His eponymously named morning television show, the Maury Povich Show, is coming to an end. I think it's something. This show is crazy, man. Have you ever watched Maury?
Have I ever watched Maury? Who's never watched Maury? It's like,
I haven't seen it. I didn't know it was Stallone.
Dixon.
I thought it was off like
the
10 years
father.
ago. No.
And that's when it's like they get the camera and they start running around and they follow them. You know,
some of the best laughs I have ever had in my life. Why is it that we want to watch The Mess so much that this cat could stay on for 31 years doing the same sketch every single day?
Bro, and it's funny because I'm thinking to myself, like, oh yeah, it's changed. Because Jerry Springer was the same way, where it was just like, that's funny, David. As soon as you said Jerry Springer, it pops on the screen. But yeah, it's like Jerry Springer is like, you would think that his stuff changed, and his stuff actually changed. So to go to Maury, and I pulled up on Maury one time and pulled up one of the shows, and it's still the same thing.
We need some drama.
I'm pregnant by a 18-year-old. Or the
16-year-old alien.
Right.
The alien with the elongated head and green eyes is not my child. Anyway, James, we need to get some drama on our show. I think that's what we need. If we find some way to get a little bit of drama on the morning, because that's what people like, right? People tune in 31 years to this guy telling people that their hood baby ain't theirs. Like, and it wasn't even just hood babies, bro. They had like some of them trailer park episodes were wow.
Lil Nas X, let's not forget that he went on Maury and had the whole tirade was with his baby.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I said Lil Nas X and baby. Y'all, I did. So Maury has done his thing, and it's about time he took a break, because he's married to what's the reporter? Former reporter. Kim. There she is. I can't remember her name.
Let me see her screen. Oh, I just missed it because I'd be half looking at the screen most of the time, not looking. One last couple other stories here.
Connie Chung.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's Connie Chung. Yep. Because that was when she retired. Remember, she was all on the piano.
No, I don't, but it sounds. I didn't
catch
that part.
Singing a song. Oh yeah, Connie Chung. She was like, "I'm retiring, so I'm about to act a fool," and she acted a fool on that piano. It's everything.
This is it across
for me. Yeah.
And now the end is near, and so I face.
Right.
She went in. Huh?
That's my favorite song to sing in karaoke, dude.
Which one?
My Way.
Frank My Way. Oh yeah, man. Mm-hmm. Oh, bro, that's a jam right there. The best rendition of Frank Sinatra, My Way. I lie not to you. A lot of people are going to cuss me out, and I'm probably going to get canceled as a musician.
Let's see which one you say.
Mike the Mouse on Sing.
On Sing, bro. Yes,
bro. When he came and did it, and he came flying down on the helicopter, just spinning around on the microphone. I said, Frank Sinatra ain't got on that little mouse, but I might have been.
No, don't worry, man. You won't get canceled, because I was hoping you was gonna say that, but that was my favorite rendition too,
bro. And then, bro, then he ran out. What happened? He ended up riding off into the sunset with the mouse and the convertible car. It was shout out to them. Let's go to speaking of mice-sized brains. I want to talk about Representative Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene, who were the only I almost made it. I almost made it through with a straight face, Jay. Speaking of pea-sized brains, representatives from the Neanderthal village, Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene, were the only two congresspeople to vote no on a bill reauthorizing the National Marrow Donor Program. Really? Like, this is a pretty basic program that everyone agrees on, but Neanderthal 1 and Neanderthal 2 said, according to this report, Boebert, who is of Colorado, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is, of course, of Georgia, they were only two members of Congress to vote against a bill that would provide patients who suffer from leukemia and other blood diseases access to potentially life-saving bone marrow transplants. The legislation, called the Transplant Act, would reauthorize the National Marrow Donor Program for another 5 years. The program helps match bone marrow donors and cord blood units with people in need. I giggled and I chuckled there, not because I'm an asshole, but because of how big of an asshole you have to be to vote against this. James, like, this is like, if there's one thing people should be able to care and come together on, it got to be people in the condition. Anyway, let me keep reading. A spokesperson for Neanderthal Green told Insider in a statement that the bill, quote unquote, opens the door for National Institutes of Health to research the remains of babies who were murdered in the womb. So she's trying to turn this to an issue on abortion. The irony of this is that I know the pro-life movement. You two are not even decent representatives of the pro-life movement, and all the rest of the Republicans in the Congress voted for this. So in a world where you have to stand out for being ignorant and depraved, I would like to offer for your consideration, James, the Neanderthal of the day, two of them, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, because they voted against leukemia patients, bro. That's where we are.
Wow. What's my guy's name out of Colorado that's running against Boebert?
The shit guy. Do we have that ad?
I think yes. Chris Lionheart just said it best in the chat. Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber. Thing 1 and 2. It's not a matter. It's not a competition between blonde and brunette because we got both. Ooh, Lord! Wait a minute. Wait a minute. That'll get me canceled. I'm gonna pull it back. I'm working on. My wife will let you know I'm still trying to get and exercise all the misogyny in me, so y'all forgive me for that slip. But Neanderthal 1 and 2, I present to you Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert. Do we have the shit commercial, David? By any chance, you could pull that up real quick, would you? The bullshit commercial.
Man,
I'm laughing because in my other work, I don't talk about my other work much. Most people just think I do the show, but when I leave here, I go to work myself, and I do some political consulting, and we're working on a commercial for a client, a wonderful client. And I'm having to convince them to push the envelope a little bit. Like, it's okay. You don't have to do a standard commercial anymore. I'm going to send them this later on today so that they can understand what I mean. Let's watch this commercial. Oh boy.
Oh, shit.
This is disgusting.
It's disgusting.
Why are we like this?
We are real Coloradans. We deserve a living wage, small government that actually works, and freedom of choice. Instead, we have bullshit.
My God, the sound effects, bro. I can't do the sound effects.
The sound effects.
Oh my God.
Don't you ever wonder where it's all coming from?
Neanderthal number 2.
And it looks just like her too.
Bro, who did they get?
It's really easy to look like her. I mean,
oh my God. All right, that's enough.
It's really easy to look like her.
Not a bullshitter.
That's enough. I'm gonna let my client know later on today to not be concerned. We're gonna push the envelope with his ad because well, the politicians in charge right now, they're full of shit.
Is all on ALLOUN, all on.
All of them. I think I got some other news in here. Hang on. Let me go back into the vault. See, maybe we could be professional for one more story. I haven't had a chance to talk to you about it. I wanted to talk to George about it, but I know she had to get out of here. The House, we talked about in the first segment, the House of Representatives passed a bill to ban race-based hair discrimination. And that legislation is now going to the Senate. The House of Representatives passes the Crown Act. And activists who were supporting this legislation have been fighting natural hair discrimination. And on Friday, March 18th, the United States House of Representatives finally passed the Crown Act. Congressman Ayanna Pressley of Massachusetts said the following: by passing the Crown Act today, the House affirmed that Black is beautiful, and so is our hair. Whether you are a student, an employee, or our next Supreme Court justice, you deserve to show up as your full self with your head held high.
Amen.
That is what's up. I like
that, David, you had that clip of Ayanna Pressley talking? Is that the
rise today on the floor of the House of Representatives, the People's House, to declare that Black girls with our braids, locks, afros, all forms of natural hairstyles, and yes, even our smooth alopecia bald heads belong everywhere.
Come on now, Queen.
Today, we take an important step towards codifying this fact into law by passing the Crown Act legislation. I'm so proud to co-lead in partnership with Representatives Watson, Coleman, Moore, Lee, and Omar. For too long, Black girls have been discriminated against and criminalized for the hair that grows on our heads and the way we move through and show up in this world. In my home state, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, two twin sisters, Deanna and Maya, high school students, were disciplined for showing up with braids. They were given numerous detentions, kicked off the track team, banned from prom solely for their hairstyle. In their own words, these scholars and athletes were judged more for their heritage than their homework. No more. For those sisters and thousands of other students who face discrimination based on their hair, the Crown Act is for you. For recent graduates who fear they must change their hair or cut their locks to secure a job, the Crown Act is for you. For our elders who have faced and fought this racism for generations, the Crown Act is for you. Just yesterday, the Massachusetts State Legislature made history by passing similar legislation. By passing the Crown Act today, we affirm, say it loud, Black is beautiful and so is our hair. Whether you are a student in a classroom, an employee in the workplace, or the next Supreme Court justice or the Speaker Pro Tem, you deserve to show up as your full self, rocking your crown with your head held high. I urge a yes vote for every person who has been asked to shrink or to apologize simply for the beautiful way with which God made them. I yield back.
Come on, somebody. She follows me on Twitter, man. I'm such a fan.
Shut up, really?
Yeah, she does, man. I used to be in her. I used to live in Boston. I didn't live in her district, but I had a chance to like cover some of the stories there, and we got connected back in the day. But man, no, she just put that thing down right there. And shout out to, like, I can't even get my head to be as nice as hers. Like, what is she doing? Like, how's your head so perfect? Because mine is. I'm struggling here. Like. That's perfection right there, bro.
I'm gonna tell you the trick, and I just figured this out last night. The trick is shave your head with the clippers first, okay?
Okay.
Like balding clippers, that's what I use mine with. I do balding clippers first, get the hard stuff out, and then I go back over with a razor to get that that smooth finish.
I do that too. It just don't look as nice as hers. I just a little head envy there. Yeah. I want to come to one of my favorite professors of all time. I never got a chance to go to one of his classes in person, but I studied him years along the way. Dr. Cornel West. What I like about him the most, though, is that he's just a down ass brother. Check out this clip of him. I thought this was an old clip, but apparently this is a new clip of Dr. West getting it in to Cameo. All right, Cameo, Candy. And he's at the Shabazz Center getting it in. Let's take a look at this clip real quick. Wait a minute.
Damn StreamYard.
StreamYard. We can't even enjoy it. There it is.
It's trying to catch up, right?
All right, we give up.
There we go.
God damn it, StreamYard. All right, that's enough. That's enough. Anyway, well, sorry, StreamYard. We don't mean to clown you. We don't normally use StreamYard. Shout out to Dwayne, who had to take care of daddy stuff. So we're not in our normal system. You got the idea, though, right? Just imagine. I gotta do it like this, James. You just gotta imagine Dr. West, with his little bow leg self doing his dance, kind of like Marty Marr,
Right.
That's you just kind of have to imagine it until we get back to our system tomorrow, James.
Right. Okay. And Ben, I found.
Yep.
Oh, there we go. And watch it pause.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
anyway,
I found
what'd you
this
find?
the tweet from Kanye and what he said.
Oh,
I'm gonna read it
Lord.
for you. Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Kanye West. I told y'all before about this TikTok stuff. Now my 8-year-old on here singing she fell in love with an emo girl. Leftists don't want fathers to have no say in our children's lives. I don't want my kids at godless Sierra Canyon School. I got a voice and I'm not having this. And Perez Hilton, you still ain't answer my question and never put my name next to the word abuse. Don't play with my name like that. I'm a real person who wants the best for my children. And D.L. Hughley is a pawn. Yeah, I know a king not supposed to address a pawn, but I address everything and find addresses. DL, so don't speak on me or my children. I can afford to hurt you. So that's what got him banned from Instagram. And then this is it for me. We're going to stop letting practicing drug addicts be used by leftists to willy lynch our future black people with our own opinion, are not allowed to speak in public. I am the glitch. I am the glitch. DL, God does not like you. You have no favor. Your family hates you. I would hate to be related to somebody who used to be famous. Now you're just known as a broke pawn, and at least Oprah got billions, allegedly. Come on, leftists. Y'all got to do better than DL. This yay bring the real smoke, baby. Show your real face, Charlamagne. Just don't hit the same Dewey. Who y'all gonna get now? God is with us, and you send DL to be against us.
No!
You've lost. No brilliant Hebrews will bow to y'all no more. Only dumbass drug addict house ninjas. Don't play me and don't play with God. Anybody related to DL, call Chris McLean at Adidas for Yeezys. They not free though. We running a business over here. He just getting ran. You see Skeet missing work. Anybody else want to play with me? Please, 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 for the love of God, come and get me. Let's see how it turns out.
I volunteer as tribute. Anyway, Kanye done lost his mind, man. Who Kanye think he is? You ain't that good.
Bruh, Oprah got billions allegedly. You just Kanye,
you're not that good. You're just not. I tell you what. No. Put Kanye in a room by himself. You give him his beat machine, he gonna do his thing. Right. So I'm not knocking him in terms of his talent. What I'm saying, at the apex of his talent, as good as he is, he ain't good enough to be running his mouth like he's the king of anything.
No,
he's barely the king of his own family. See, you're not the king of your family because you assert dominance. I never have to require my wife to do a thing. I don't have to yell. I don't have to raise. In fact, a real king never addresses a queen like he did. Maybe you should have evaluated what queen you chose, king. Don't be mad at us because you chose the wrong queen. King.
Right. Damn, Ben. You did choose the wrong queen. I'm like, come on, man. We talking about Kim. Were you trying to be the one? Oh, that's what it is. Let's put it all together. Somebody said that you ain't gonna be able to marry Kim and keep her married because she has a thing for black guys. She's gonna break up with you in 1 or 2 years. And somebody said you can't do it. So he trying to prove that you can. Nah, bro. You might as well get that up, Playboy.
Nah,
she
bro.
moved on.
Listen, let me tell you something else about being a father, right? Because high key, the people who see through our BS more than anybody else is our children. Like let's just be real. If anybody understands the diagnosis that Kanye needs to be diagnosed with, see, Kanye, here's a flip side of it. You don't have the patent on being black, talented, excellent, or a father, and you struggling, son. Sit down somewhere.
Yeah. Shout out to Rebecca in the chat room too. She said you need the Kente hat on.
Hakuna Matata. Should have bought a Hyundai, but I couldn't afford a Bentley.
It's yay to the need to sit to the down.
Whatever happened to predictability? Kanye has lost his mind and his synchronicity.
Kanye, you are smoking too much crack.
You should have reevaluated, yay, the type of queen that you put beside your side, yay. But don't blame that on us today. Not today, Satan. No.
Kim K dated Kanye and had kids, they say. Now Kim K has found her way to another black man, who's actually white.
I was gonna say
no, So Kanye is smoke on everybody.
Kim
Millions, he
has
says, allegedly.
It all. She's whitewashed it all. Kim has whitewashed all your blackness.
All of it. Even to the point that Kim K is like, Kanye, I don't think Kanye is smart anymore. He's like a MAGA supporter. I'm not. It was just a ploy.
Nobody cares about your Why do black people think, okay, we're going off the script here. Black folks, why do you think, look at this fool. You might want to cut the mic. Why do black people think that going to the Republican Party is like the woke thing to do? Like, dummies, you do realize we came from there, so you going back there is not some kind of big epiphany. Black folks know how to vote when we really want to, but you got this group like Kanye, who's like the most revolutionary thing that you could possibly do. This is it. Kanye, this is how woke he is. He's saying the most revolutionary thing that you could possibly do is to go sign up to vote for Donald Trump. Folks, if that's not a sign of cognitive decline, I don't know what else is. So, I mean, there he is. Look at his face, bro.
I was just telling, man.
Damn it, I'm gonna stop you right there. But Beyonce had the best. That's when I knew. I was like, oh, this boy done lost his mind.
Yeah, that's when I knew too. It's just like, granted, he wasn't wrong, but yeah, he's lost his damn mind. Like, dude, you're on national TV, and because of this, because of you, yay, Beyonce stopped doing national TV appearances. You son of a bee. Really? Everybody like Beyonce. Oh yeah, man. I
didn't know that.
She was embarrassed as hell, and I mean that probably is not the reason, but let's be honest. Yeah. After that happened, she stopped like appearing on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that would be embarrassing.
Shows.
Somebody just need to grab him and tell him, like, bro, listen.
Man, I don't think the only person that's gonna grab him and tell him gonna be God and his mama.
I don't think he's gonna listen to God. Because God gonna tell him he wrong. See, he was just trying to tell, who was he just trying to say God don't like you? He was trying to tell DL Hewley that. Who was that? You were reading the tweets and saying, God don't even like you.
Yeah.
Bruh, you hang out with Elon Musk. Come on. If we talk about people that God don't really like, let's talk about the guy who made his fortune off of emerald slaves. Anyway, never mind. I want to leave that alone. This is a whole nother story for a whole nother day. Or fascists. You think God likes fascists? You think God likes Candace Owens? Come on, man. God got a sense of humor. He might love them, but he sure as hell. Anyway, let me stop.
Yeah, he love them because he made them, so he's like, yeah, I already know that they was gonna be like this. I just need to make them a little bit of asshole. Somebody I need to make a whole asshole.
A little bit of narcissism mixed with a little bit of assholery, a little bit of self-hatred, a little bit of
just give him edges, a lot of free will around here. Maybe that free will, just maybe turn him around something like, nope, damn, kind of messed him up more than what it needs to be.
Yep. Nope. Can't do it now.
A little bit too
the
much.
Genie is out of the bottle.
Okay.
Because Kanye just called himself king.
somebody pulled up on him as on DL Hughley, one of Kanye's friend, Theophilus.
Listen,
That was his name, but yeah, it's getting it's getting too real now. Yeah.
Let me just go here. Like Kanye, let's know our lane, brother. Let's just. I don't know if anybody's ever told you, brother, but you are more suited to be a Disney dad than a goon. Okay. You are more suited to be a Disney dad than a goon. And I'm telling you that from somebody who grew up goon adjacent. I'm a Disney dad. I am not a goon. Kanye, you want to be able to go to Sesame Street, bro. Don't think you're going to pull up on Blue Hill Ave, bro.
But you know what? Only reason I disagree is because he did grow up on the south side of Chicago, so he probably do know. But it was one of those things. He knows, yes. He's one of those that got the shooters and knows all of them. But I think Tim himself, he ain't gonna bust a grape. Because on that documentary, it was one scene he went to go confront somebody about something, and it was just like, yeah, I said that, bro. But it wasn't no issue or no smoke. And Ye just like, I'm supposed to be your friend. How you gonna say that to me?
Say less. Say less. So I will present to Kanye again. Kanye, stay on Sesame Street.
Thank you,
Don't
Blue
try
Daddy.
to go
North
to Blue
side.
Head. Don't try to. He came on the north side of Chicago.
He's from north side.
See, I don't know enough about Chicago to actually to front like that. But I'm from Pompano, bro. I'm from Pompano. Now, I ain't a shooter. I ain't even got shooters, but I know people who got the shooters. So, we can outsource some things. But you don't try to pretend as though you yourself got the smoke when you about 5'7" like me, Kanye. Come on, man. Sit down somewhere, bro. You yourself ain't got the smoke, man. You know some shooters, and so we all do.
That's what it is. It's like, man, you're not gonna pull up.
You ain't gonna pull up yourself. Right. You gonna lay hands yourself. You gonna 1-2, got a 2-piece snack yourself, Kanye. Come on, man. 3-piece combo. What? You gonna sleep somebody, Kanye? Come on, man. Personally, I'm talking about personally. I'm not talking about your security guards, because we know what they can do. Shoot, ain't nobody crazy. I ain't pulling up on Kanye. He got too much security.
Man, there's a few people security guards like, nah, bro, I ain't messing with you, dog. No, I'm good.
Hey, your boy, up in Gangnam Style. What's his name?
What's his name? Damn, Psy, ain't it? PSI? Psy. Yeah, Psy.
Right. Hey, y'all check out that man's security.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, probably got the best security in the game right now.
Who that?
Beyonce security guard. I know, I love Beyonce. Beyonce security guard. Yeah. This man, like 7 feet tall, 500 pounds, just all muscle, dude, is just gonna pick you up and just toss you anywhere.
Was that the guy? There was a guy walking with Jay-Z, and Jay-Z had his daughter, and they were going up to the Louvre, I think. And this security guard came in, I'm 5,000 miles away on a video screen, safe in my home, but that security guard pulled up and made me nervous. I cut off the video. So maybe we might be talking about the same guy.
Because Jay-Z already like 6 feet tall, right? So Buddy was towering over Jay-Z.
That's the guy. Yep. No. So Kanye, we ain't fronting, bro. We ain't gonna pretend and say like you ain't got shooters, you ain't got goons, you can't pull up. You got enough money to drill whoever you want to. Got it.
Right.
I don't think you go lay hands personally. I think so. Anyway, James, get me out of here before we fall over into toxic masculinity. I'm a Disney dad. I ain't claiming nothing other than Kanye needs to sit down somewhere, man. He need to chill.
Sat him ass down somewhere.
Yeah. Play some music, James. We'll be back tomorrow.
Yes.
Go to a doctor, man. I need you to feel better, bro. Can't be DJing with one arm.
I guess I don't want to go. That's why I ain't been yet. Mama know
See you later, man.
I don't want to go to no damn doctor.
Take it easy.
Brother, I'll see you tomorrow, sir. All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all. We made it till 10 o'clock. 5 minutes still anyway. Oh, Mara Sharice. Shout out Mara Sharice. She said I'm a Disney auntie. Was watching Brave with my little yesterday. I love me some Brave. What's the Turning Red is really good as well too. If y'all haven't seen that, y'all go watch that too. All right, y'all. Love y'all. Mean it. We'll see y'all tomorrow. I guess I'm gonna try to go to somebody's doctor eventually. I don't know. We'll see. I keep y'all posted. Shout out to Lee, Brother Dragon. I appreciate y'all, man. Alicia, hey, love you too. See y'all tomorrow. tomorrow.
Bye, bye, bye. You're a little bit selfish. You get mad every time you lose. You can't take me with you. I'm scared you're gonna blow your fuse. Come a little bit closer.